Hello, nerdy neighbors. Welcome back to the neighborhood and welcome back to your friendly neighborhood comic show. You might be noticing that this video is not live and is not a Sunday, but the great news is that I have been getting so many awesome opportunities to bring so many indie creators to you all and to show you all their great work and especially their Kickstarters. And especially because they're time sensitive and I can't get everybody on the show at the same time all the time. I wanted to start just throwing some other indie creator interviews up. Woo! So the creator on this episode is the creator for Star Noir. Is a Kickstarter going on right now. So follow along, click the link below. The link to Kickstarter is down there. Click it. Follow along, back it. So without further ado, please check out this awesome interview with the phenomenal creator, Tony James of Star Noir. Well, welcome, Tony. It is good to chat with you today. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So those of you that will be watching this, just so you know, this is Tony James. He is the creator and writer, if I'm not mistaken, of Star Noir, this really new, really awesome Kickstarter that is ending in a week. So I wanted to bring him on so we could talk about just how great this is, because I know here in our nerdy neighborhood on the channel, you guys are so good about backing these Kickstarters once we get these creators on. So Tony, tell us about Star Noir. I'm going to try to throw up some visuals so people can see a Kickstarter while you talk, but tell us, what in the world is it about?
Okay, so Star Noir is a 6-part murder mystery about a 1940s detective who teams up with a gray alien to stop a shapeshifter from killing LAPD officers inside Central Station. It is LA Noir meets the X-Files. You've got the glamorized nostalgia of the 1940s mixed with the spooky, creepy encounters that you would see in the show like the X-Files.
Yeah, I love that description when I read that because, I'm a fan of the sci-fi stuff too. Even though I haven't watched too much X-Files, but I was a huge fan of the LA Noir video game. And I was just like, how do you put those together? Like, it almost
Yeah.
seems like two different genres with the sci-fi and the mystery.
Mhm.
Was there any specific inspiration behind, like, let's make LA Noir, but with an alien involved in the shapeshifter?
It was really just trying to combine two of my favorite passions. I love the old Hollywood movies. I not just the way everybody looks, but like the paced dialogue. Um,
Mhm.
and then with sci-fi, one of the big shows I watched with my dad was the X-Files, and I really loved
Mhm.
how they took those real world alien abduction stories and they kind of wove it into their own narrative. And what it gave you was this almost grounded take on aliens. So it kind of added to this fear of the unknown. So I just thought it would be an interesting mashup to pair a matter of fact 1940s with a matter of fact portrayal of aliens.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I love the art. Who is the artist on the series?
Pablo Debonis, he is from Argentina. He's done some stuff for Scout Comics. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, he's great. I was reaching out to artists, and he said he was interested. I gave him the script, and he was like, "This narrative is incredible." And he immediately started doing concept art, and the concept art he started doing, I was absolutely in love with. So we've just been clicking ever since. And then our colorist, Vinicius Townsend, he's from Brazil.
Mhm.
He's done some coloring work for IDW for GI Joe. And he had a really good idea for doing this sort of like brushstroke style that made everything look very vintage and of the time. So it was a really cool
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, there's a lot of details here, including even facial expressions. Like, clearly in this image you have here, this dead body with the heart ripped out or something, is definitely the focus of the panel, but you can still actually see his facial expressions here, and that's really hard, line work, ink work to do there.
Yeah, yeah. I've just been really blown away by the stuff that the team has come up with. I mean, when obviously when you're a writer, you're writing for the artist, so you feel like you have to sacrifice a little bit of that crystallized vision in your head. But
Mm.
well, with these guys, I feel like the vision that I pitch them is the same one they give back to me, and it's just kind of like how we're weirdly on the same page.
Mhm. That's hard to find in a creative team too. Like, You
Yeah.
know, there's all sorts of times where I hear creative teams talk about like, yeah, I had something different in mind, but they made something different and it was better than what I had in mind. So to be able to say that like they actually created your vision, that's amazing, and that was essentially their same vision as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, their layouts, their color choices, those belong to them. They're very good at coming up with this stuff. But I just sort of I pitch them a vibe. I feel this is
Uh-huh.
this crime scene. It's very there's hustle. There's a lot of moving parts. There's people walking around, and I feel like the artist really captures. There's so much life in each of these panels. There's a lot of stuff going on. This
Mhm.
is one of my favorite scenes right here. This alien
Yeah.
encounter. Yeah, this is when our main character Alan Miller he has his first run-in with the gray alien who will become his partner throughout the story. And this
Mhm.
is where he tells him that a shapeshifter killed the traffic detective that's murdered on the bridge. And so he's kind of he brushes it off at first, but then the next day at the office he sees the captain talking to a gray alien, and then he barges in, and that's when he sees somebody who looks more like Tom Holland instead of a gray.
That's funny. How did you go about kind of, you know, designing, you know, or did you have any specific pitch to how you wanted the alien to look?
I mean, since it was set in the 40s, I really wanted to go with that classic gray alien look. I feel like it. Yeah, I just feel like it fit the 1940s era. There
Mhm.
were some, design choices with like the alien jumpsuit, and like the X Files, like a lot of that stuff comes from just poring over people's different alien abduction stories, and they always mention like an alien floating with a blue suit with some gold trim, and I was
Mhm.
just trying to recreate some of that stuff.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and it almost it melds the 2 genres well together, the fact that you kinda wanted that gray alien look,
Yeah,
but, you know, like, he's got the little hat too, and he's got the little tilt on it, um,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's just very clever.
yeah. Thank you.
You know, I one thing I wanted to ask about too is that, you know, I know, you know, the 1940s, of course, were a pretty brutal time. I mean, what time isn't nowadays? But
Yeah,
you do have like you don't really shy away from like the blood and even some gore. Like again, the guy's got his, you know, heart ripped out of his chest and those claw marks.
yeah.
What made you kind of want to, you know, stick to showing that much, you know, blood and gore?
Well, the blood and gore is it's very strategic. I mean, you see it in here, but there is a lot of casework, a lot of interviews, a lot of trying to figure out if somebody's lying. So the gore it's just used to give you stakes and to really kind of show the threat that these guys are up against.
Mhm.
But it's not there to just be gratuitous just for the sake of being gratuitous. It's like it's
Yeah.
supposed to be horrifying here, and then as the detectives are working through the case, you remember this image in their head, and then when it starts happening to other officers, like the mystery starts to deepen and the threat starts to get bigger.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I love how, you know, as you're reading through this Kickstarter here, you mentioned that another kind of twist or an additional theme is that everybody has kind of their own secret or kind of their own dark secret.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering why you chose to add that additional theme in there, that additional layer.
It's because that era, is right with that McCarthyism vibe. Everyone's sort of looking over their shoulder. Everyone's not sure of who they can trust. And when you have an alien, or when you have a detective who is secretly an alien, it just fits that with all these detectives who are not good people, but they pretend that they are good people, and you start to find out what their flaws are. And one of the good things that I picked up from LA Noir is that you have a lot of instances where a character gives you a visual tell. So as
Mhm.
the reader, even before the character figures out that somebody's lying, you're going to go, oh, they're adding too much to their story. Oh, they keep looking away from the character. Oh, they keep putting things between the person they're talking to and themselves. So there are always these little visual clues for the reader to kind of know when someone's lying that plays into discovering what people's secrets are.
That's awesome. I was actually gonna ask that when she mentioned lying stuff. I was like, "Ooh, like, are you gonna have it so like we can kind of as the readers be like, oh, they're lying, we can tell,' or you know,
Yeah.
we think they're lying and then we realize, oh man, we were very wrong about that." Like,
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
that was actually
yeah,
hell.
one of the things well, another thing that I brought from LA Noire that I was really inspired by was how that game brings you as the player into the casework. So you're poring over every clue, you're analyzing it with the detectives, and Star Noir it does the exact same thing. Like, all clues are important. If you see something, it's not just to show you, it's so you can start piecing things together along with the two detectives.
That's so cool. I feel like with this kind of brand, if you will, or potential franchise, you could make like choose your own adventures out of this. And
Yeah,
like
that'd
when
be
people
cool.
are wrong, it's like, oh, now you gotta go back to square one. Like, good try.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good, a good thing to think about in the future.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun to see. I love the colors too. Like it's interesting because here again, they've got the light brown pastels and the tan pastels, and then here it's completely black, blue, and green. Just absolutely fantastic job to the colorist.
Yeah, I will tell them I share all the praise. I always just pass it. I'm the middleman for their praise.
Absolutely. Well, they deserve it. It's always great to have, all the creators on when we can, but we can't always do that.
Right.
I wanted to say here, the detective here, he's got like Harvey Dent vibes, like major Two-Face vibes. Like he really thinks he's just in what he's doing, but he is off the rails.
Yeah, there's a really interesting dynamic between Alan Miller, this guy running, and then his alien partner, and their approaches to detective work. Alan is very, very what you expect of the 1940s detectives, like very callous, not afraid to get his hands dirty to get the information that he needs. But Ellis is the alien. He's the total opposite. He's very benevolent. He doesn't like to use a gun, which gets him into some trouble.
Mhm.
And you really see how their different styles bounce off each other, where it's like Alan is beating somebody up, and Ellis is like, isn't there a better way to go about this? Like, can't you just ask him questions? Or at
Yeah,
least
it's
this is the different moments.
it's almost like the alien can actually see like what he should be doing, like what's going to be happening like decades down the line. But nope, right now it's still in the 40s. You can go away with these things. Just punch a guy if you're mad. That's great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Exactly.
perfect way to handle it.
Yeah.
So what's been, without spoilers, of course, what's been one of your favorite things or parts to write in Star Noir so far?
The twist. There are a bunch of red herrings, but the
Mm,
major twist of the story, I think, is one that I'm really proud of. I
mm.
think it's very effective because it plays on your expectations of the noir genre. Uh,
Ooh.
and when it flips it on its ear, I feel like the entire reason that it works is because if you've seen a bunch of noir stories, you think, "Oh, this is what this is. I've seen this. This is what this," and then there's a great sci-fi twist to it, which I think
Ooh.
is pretty clever. Yeah.
I'm interested to see that. It's funny because when I was early on, I was looking at the Kickstarter for Star Noir. Obviously, I was intrigued because as a Marvel fan, of course, everybody with the MCU is going crazy about it. But like the second I heard Shapeshifter, I was like, oh, scrolls. So now that you said there's a sci-fi twist, I'm like, oh man, what can you do with that? And how
Yeah.
crazy will that mix with the noir world? I'm excited to see what's done there because yeah, like twists are hard to write. I feel like twists are one of the most anxious things to write because a lot of times, a creator can write them and we're like, no idea how this is gonna hit, but you seem really stoked about this, so that makes me
Right.
excited.
Yeah, I mean, plausible deniability is the cornerstone for every great twist. I feel like anything that's cliche right now can be used as a twist because we just expect it to go one way, not thinking it's just going to go the other way. You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I wanted to hear about these rewards because you've got like an 11 by 17 poster, you got baseball cards, and you got the detective's badge on them. And this sounds really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got these really nice 4x6 postcards of a couple of really nice panels blown up. And then we have this really cool vintage poster. The colorist added this extra layer to it, these kind of
Ooh.
crease folds on it.
Mhm.
Uh, the page is not actually folded. It just looks like that, but it kind of gives it a really nice vintage look to it. And then the
Mm,
baseball cards, I just thought was just very interesting to, since there are a lot of detectives that you meet in the story. I thought it'd be nice to kind of have this ever expanding set of baseball cards that has each of the different detectives and their character stats, and even which sidearm that they use.
mm,
Ellis's card has no sidearm because I said before he doesn't like to use a gun.
mm.
So yeah, I thought that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is. I wonder too, like going forward, like if Star Noir picks up speed and such, it'd be cool to see like, other cases with other detectives in the area in the era and what their cards would look like, and maybe even other aliens or whatever else you throw in the world. It may not just be aliens. I don't know what you're thinking.
It's just the aliens. It's the noir setting and the aliens. That's the big conceit.
Yeah, I love it. I love the saying. I love the whole energy of this. The art again is fantastic. A lot of times, for me at least, sometimes stuff that is in a certain time period, it doesn't capture the essence of it well, and you guys hit it on the head. And even just your dialogue and here fits the tone of the era as well, which is really cool. Like the fact that he says Jesus, his ticker's gone missing. Like I feel like people don't appreciate just how into that era that sentence is.
Yeah, that was I spent quite a few months doing research on this era, not just the clothes that they wore, the cars they drove, but I mean this bridge that they're on. I mean that bridge has been removed in Los Angeles. It's they have a futuristic
Mhm.
looking bridge now, so you had to kind of go back and look at different photos. I ended up finding a blueprint for the original bridge, and I just gave that right to the artist. So he was able to create this Sixth Street Bridge with so much detail that they had back then.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane. That's so cool. I haven't heard of people with comics using blueprints to make things, so that's really cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
some, like, Iron Man level stuff or something. That's just so cool. That's blowing my mind right now. Well, we've got 9 days as of recording this since October 3rd. We've got a little under 3K to go, 173 backers. What's the biggest push you wanna see? Is there a particular reward or tier that you really wanna highlight to people and say, "This is the best bang for your buck to get you all the cool stuff?"
I mean, it really is the top tier with you get the posters with the cards with the prints, and of course a really nice 42-page book that we've also included a bunch of concept art it's shown in one of the updates, but yeah,
Mhm.
there's concept arts in there. It's just it's an all around really great package to get. I think not only have we kind of really nailed it with like the story and the art, but we really want to bring it home with the quality of the stuff that you guys are actually going to get.
Yeah, I mean, $100 for that kind of quality poster and the baseball cards and postcards and all that stuff, and then the
Yeah.
book, because this is bigger than the average size comic.
Yes. Yeah. 42 pages, and there's a lot going on, and then each subsequent book is about the same length.
Nice. How many books do you have sketched out so far?
There are six. So this is a story that's fully written. It's not like we did
Mhm.
one book and we have an outline of where we want to go. Like no, the whole thing is set up. We know exactly what issue two is going to be like, and three and four and so on. So yeah, so this is just essentially act one of the story, and then we really start, taking the wheels off as we really start going for it.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that means that everybody watching and listening, you all need to take the leap and get on this first book, because after this first book, you're going to want the other five, and they will be coming. So you have to be ready for it, y'all. You've got to get on this. I'm really
Yes.
excited to see, like you said, the quality of it, because when I was looking at the tiers, I was like, "Huh, what's happening here? Is this a single issue?" And then I realized it was like 42 pages, and I think it's a hardcover. Am I right on that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
it's a gorgeous hardcover. I'm super excited about that because it's hard to
Yeah.
get nice, affordable hardcovers that have this level of quality, and they're indie comics. It's not like they're Marvel DC, which you can find anywhere.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yep. I even say it in the campaign that, like, paper quality is a big issue for a big important detail for us. We it's if you have a great story with great art, but it's on tissue paper that kind of like undercuts everything that we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So that's really like the third thing that really kind of brings the whole thing together is having it be a really nice book to hold in your hand.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, it took me a while, but once I really got into comics, I realized the importance of paper quality too. Because if you don't know any better, you're kind of just like, okay, well, I guess it's comic, right? You don't really know what to expect. So it's cool to see great creators like you that really do value that and want to, give us, the value of what we're, investing in essentially.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's hard work running a Kickstarter. It's exhausting and trying to get everything right and so much of what you guys work to do behind the scenes is to make us happy. So I'm very thankful to you and all these other great creators that are working your tails off to get us a great book. But all that said, what any last minute things you want to throw out there about Star Noir that we didn't mention?
Because of a good story reason that the story goes into. Alan can see Ellis's gray alien form, but everybody else sees somebody who looks like Tom Holland.
I think that's a very important detail. You should like put that in bold, like
Yeah,
the second you mentioned the Ellis, the alien in the Kickstarter, because
that's
I
that's
think
why.
that'll get people.
Yeah, that's why when he's running into the captain's office because he sees an alien, there's a human standing there. There's a good sci-fi reason for why that's happening.
I think that's fantastic. I think it, gives you the good sci-fi reason, as you said, but also adds a nice comedic element that, is probably
Yeah, there you go.
necessary. Yeah, he's right over here.
Yeah, yeah, that's Ellis. That's what Ellis looks like to everybody else.
I love that. I love that switch up. Well, thank you so much for being on here, Tony. I really appreciate your time. I'm excited to get the word out, get more people to back it because we got to get this funded. It's going to be gorgeous. Plug yourself away. Where can people find you and all that great stuff?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at T/J, the word slash T/J, and on Instagram at BananaBat, which is really fun to say, BananaBat. Um, yeah, those are the two main places. I don't know if anyone plays No Man's Sky, but I build bases in No Man's Sky, but I don't think you'll find me there. But yeah, T/J on Twitter and at BananaBat on Instagram.
Nice. So is Ellis like a complete pacifist, or could he wield a banana bat if it's a banana and he used as a bat? Could he do that?
Um, yeah, there's a pretty funny moment in the last issue when it comes to his ability to wield weapons, which is it's pretty funny. I really like that moment. So yes, but
I love it. I'm gonna need to see some fan art from those of you watching. Somebody that is artistic that is better than me at it. You should draw Ellis with the baseball bat and put it on Twitter for everybody to see. With the banana
yeah,
bat. I'm sorry, not baseball bat. I think that'd be hilarious.
yeah, that'll be funny. Yeah, and I'll post that around. Yeah.
Yes. Do it, guys. Do it. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Tony. It's been awesome. All you watching, please check the description below. Go back, Star Noir. It's going to be a great book. It's going to be gorgeous. It's like $25 for a gorgeous, oversized hardcover, essentially. Like, it's very thick. It's got a lot of pages. It's going to be great. So be sure to back that. Go follow Tony James. And yeah, we'll see you guys next. Did you go back it? Did you? Did you back it? Listen up, nerdy neighbors. If you stuck around this far, then that means you gotta back it right now. You gotta back Star Noir. And even if you didn't make it this far, I am manifesting that you're backing Star Noir. So everybody, please don't forget, click the link below. Check out the Kickstarter for Star Noir. Support indie comic creators. And let me know what you thought of the interview. Let me know what you think of this Kickstarter. I want to keep bringing awesome indie creators to you that you all love. So let me know how you enjoyed this one. And we'll see you next time in the Nerd. So, everybody, go back the Star Noir Kickstarter right now, and we'll see you next time.